What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning into the Unfiltered podcast. I'm pretty sure you like the intro. I'm not going to lie, I stole it from Stephen A. Smith just because he has such disdain for the Dallas Cowboys. I just wanted to apply that to the Oakland Raiders. So, yeah, just talking about Oakland, it's unfortunate that Derek Carr suffered a season-ending injury, but I believe it was a broken patella bone. Well, I got some shit about it on Facebook from some of my friends that are big Raiders fans, and I wasn't making fun that Derek Carr got injured. I don't wish an injury upon anybody, but to be quite truthful, I thought it was hilarious just because it happened to the Oakland Raiders. Somehow, some way, they were going to end up getting the Raiders curse and show their true colors. Bad luck. Something always bad happens to the Oakland Raiders. And I've kind of made similar comments about the Clippers. Somehow, some way, something happens to them. And at the end of the day, they end up that they're the fucking Clippers. They're not taking over L.A. L.A. is still ran by the Lakers. And the Clippers just need to worry about paying rent. It's basically the exact same thing. So, I mean, if you're going to get angry about what I said, then, that's up on you. One of my boys, he actually unfriended me on Facebook. So, I mean, I'm not going to say it by name, but I mean, I thought it was kind of petty, just being quite honest with you. But I mean, honestly, if that's what he wanted to do, by all means, do it. But just to bring it to the record, I didn't wish any injury. If anything, I should be Nostradamus because I said that, oh man, what if Derek Carr got a torn ACL? Didn't wish it on him, but I'm just saying, what if? And unfortunately, it happened, and now they're not going to win the championship this year or get into the Super Bowl. They had a shot, being realistic about it, but it wasn't like, I was, saying that I wished an injury upon him. But like I said, again, I'm not losing any sleep at night because I knew something was going to happen to the Oakland Raiders. Now I got to listen all off season. What if this or what if that? Or, oh, your Broncos didn't make the playoffs. Well, you know what? My Broncos won the Super Bowl last year, and we're in the playoffs every single year for the last 5 years. Heck, even when Tim Tebow was there, they still made the playoffs. Right? We basically started a rookie quarterback, and we were within, I want to say maybe a game or two to get into it. And I told everybody all along that I didn't foresee us actually, getting to the Super Bowl. I just said, man, we've proven that if we don't need a top flight quarterback to win. I was wrong there. We just needed a more savvy veteran quarterback instead of what we got. So, at the end of the day, where were the Raiders at when Derek Carr was a rookie quarterback or first year? I mean, not first year, second year. Did they make the playoffs? No. All right. And this is kind of how delusional some Raider fans tend to be. You don't hear about them. You hear a whisper, and all of a sudden, it's kind of like, to me, I told somebody this the other day. It's kind of like you telling your 5-year-old kid that there's no Santa Claus after he's believed in Santa Claus, his entire existence from the understanding age. And then he gets popped into reality. There is no Santa Claus. Same exact shit with the Oakland Raiders fan base. They were living in La La Land in a fairy tale inside their own bubble, and they woke up Christmas morning and realized that they weren't in the play. I mean, they weren't going to really, make a big run within the playoffs. And then now you got them the fan base is mind fucking themselves into believing that, oh, our backup quarterback, we have a realistic shot with a backup quarterback. Newsflash, it happened in the beginning of the season? Maybe, yeah. But he's a backup for a reason. Right? So it's I don't know. It's just really funny when you listen to people, and again, like I said, they mind fuck themselves into believing a certain thing, and I guess that's that's understandable. To me, I respect the real Raiders fans that were Raiders fans before 1982, before I was born. Why? Because if you're a Raiders fan after that, or heck, even in 1980, your entire existence, they've just been known as the laughingstock of the NFL and a bunch of losers. So you guys have been associated with a loser for what? 28, 35 years roughly. So I mean, give or take. But I don't know. It's just so funny. But do I have to say that Derek Carr, he actually is going to be a phenomenal quarterback if, he doesn't get hurt. I guess that's with, maybe any top tier, franchise quarterback. But to me, just looking at it, he's the second coming of Aaron Rodgers. He can damn near make all of the throws. So, I mean, just looking at it, man, he's gonna be a phenomenal quarterback. The interesting thing is going to be when they're going to sign him to a max deal. Amari Cooper's going to be coming up for one soon. Khalil Mack is going to be coming up for one soon. So it's going to be interesting. The NFL is not really set up for you to maintain a certain type of team like that year in, year out, unless you're the New England Patriots, and they seem to almost get everything right. But that's just the unfortunate thing. But, we'll see. I think that they probably could keep all three of them. And if they did and just build off of that, then they're going to have something pretty scary here within the next few years. It was just, if my Broncos were going to be competitive this year, I sure as hell didn't want them to be competitive this year and go and win it. So, yeah, I'm going to be a little bit biased when it comes to that. So, I mean, again, if you're one of my boys and you're listening to this and, you're like, oh, is he talking about me? Probably not, but, you know who you are. And I'm not going to sit there, say anything out there, publicly. But like I said, again, I just thought that shit's kind of petty. And, again, I didn't wish anything on anybody. It just so happened that it happened to the Raiders, and I was laughing hysterically because of it. And I went on a rant because of it. So, I mean, sure, you could ask any columnist or, like if you look at Stephen A. Smith or, you look at Skip Bayless, of the world, they have their exact same way that they feel about certain teams. They don't wish injuries on anybody. If it would have happened with the Dallas Cowboys, it would have been the exact same type of scenario. Stephen A. would have, just like I said in the intro, somehow, some way. And I've said this religiously about the Clippers in the past, and I'm saying it about the Raiders now. So, that's done. So, to kind of go over the next thing I wanted to kind of discuss was UFC 207, Rousey versus Nunes. Or we'll go ahead and do it properly. Nunes versus Rousey. It's gonna be an interesting one. Reason why is I'm a real big believer of kind of looking at fighters and how they act, and if they act out of the norm, that usually concerns me. All right. I've said that in the past. I think the last person I said that about was Cain Velasquez, Fabricio Verdum. He acted out of his character making a duck face, and what happened? He got knocked the fuck out as soon as he got into the octagon. So, and then there's been other fighters in the past where I've talked about it, where actually I think it was Jose Aldo when he came out against Conor McGregor. I was looking at him when he walked out and made the entrance, and I was just like, man, he's about to get blitzed because he just looked like he didn't want to be there. So Rousey's not doing any promotional things right now during this week. Is not doing an open workout. I mean, it's good that she wants to focus. Which I totally get it. I mean, she's probably been, besides Connor and I'd say Anderson and GSP in the past, they're the ones that had to do a ton of media obligation. And it kind of can get wearing on you, especially when you're doing, I guess I could say Connor would be the second one right about now, to where they've done so much media that it takes their focus away from the fight. And when Conor got pulled from UFC 200, and he was basically saying that he didn't get a chance to focus, he wanted to do less media. You didn't have to sell that fight. And I've heard a couple columnists say, even Mayweather was promoting Pacquiao. They did one press conference. That's it. Why? Because the name sold the fight. So, it's the same exact thing. Rousey technically doesn't even really need to do too much because her name is going to basically help sell the card. Now, it's always good to do some type of media obligation to it. She's kind of went radio silent about it. But, I mean, I'm not really too concerned, but I am at the same time. So it's going to be interesting. Again, I always make this known. Whenever I pick emotionally, sometimes I lose. I usually lose more often than not because there's people that I would outright root for regardless whoever they're fighting. But something tells me this Rousey's in shape compared to her last couple of fights. So I think I'm going to go with Rousey. Nunes, to me, I picked her to beat Miesha Tate just because I thought Miesha Tate got lucky in the fight with Holly Holm where she was getting her ass kicked pretty much the whole fight. Holly Holm made a couple mistakes, and then she wins the fight. So I really wasn't too confident in picking it. So, like I said, again, I'm going to go Rousey when it comes to the championship fight. I think it's going to be submission second round because that's tend to when Nunes tends to tire out if you've seen her fights in the past. So I'm going to go with that. And this one right here, it might give me some hot water as well. My pick for the Dominic Cruz-Cody Garbrandt fight, I'm probably going to go with Cruz. Only reason why is Team Alpha Male has pretty much been, striking out every time, whether it's been Faber or Dillashaw against Dominic Cruz, right? With the exception of that first time that him and Faber fought. I mean, pretty much Cruz has beaten everybody that has come out of that camp. So I'm going to go with Cruz. Cody, I mean, of course he does. Every person that gets inside that cage has a chance to win. His game's pretty much predicated on power. The only thing that he's not going to have in this fight is the speed advantage and the overall technical aspect and the ability to formalize a game plan like Dominic Cruz. There's very few people that are a tactician or a good enough tactician like Dominic Cruz. I think there might be only one person I might put above him would be GSP, just because if he goes out there and does a game plan, he pretty much follows it to a T. He doesn't do anything different. He does, I mean, of course you always make adjustments, but he doesn't go and deviate from that. Dominic Cruz is the exact same way. So, I'm going to have to go with Dominic Cruz on that one. I think if Cody were to catch him, it would have to be early. I don't think it would necessarily be late. So that's kind of that's who I'm going to pick on that one. I'm going to pick Dominic Cruz, 5-round decision when it comes to that. And then the next fight, we got TJ Dillashaw versus John Lineker. I'm going to go with Dillashaw with this one. I just think Lineker is just like a Cody Garbrandt. It's pretty much all predicated on power. So I'm going to go with Dillashaw just because he's pretty much the closest thing you're going to get to Dominic Cruz with it. I pretty much think this is the exact same type of fight as the Dominic Cruz-Cody Garbrandt with that one. So I'm probably going to go with TJ Dillashaw, 3-round decision. And the next one we got Dong Young Kim versus Tarek Saffiedine. This is an interesting fight. It's going to be a pick'em fight with this one. Kim, if he's going to win, it's going to be, taken down, ground and pound, or, pretty much a wrestle fight type of thing. I don't think he really has the hands to hang with Tarek Saffiedine. And Saffiedine has pretty much been, his weakness has been wrestling. So I'm going to go with Dong Young Kim on that one, even though I feel like that fight could go either way. I guess another big one would be Johnny Hendricks versus Neil Magny. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm not going to sit there and say that definitively that Johnny Hendricks was on something. But if you look, pretty much as soon as USADA came in, he's had issues with cutting weight, and he hasn't knocked anybody out since Carlos Condit, and that was UFC 158. I believe it was GSP versus Nick Diaz. That was the last time. Actually, did he knock Condit out? The last time, actually, I believe he won. No, that was a 3-round decision. My fault. The the last person he knocked out before that, I'm thinking that was, God, I can't remember his name. Shit. God, let me go ahead and take a look at it. But he hasn't knocked anybody out since that fight. God, I forget who it is. I'm trying to sit there and think. I'm actually going to pull up Johnny Hendricks' past opponents and double check exactly who he's fought. Let's go ahead and see record. Go ahead and see who it is. It's on the tip of my tongue. Let's go ahead and see. It's loading up right now. It was, Martin Kapman. That's the last time he knocked anybody out. Was Martin Kapman. So USADA, pretty much when USADA came in, that's kind of when you saw the losses and the knockouts not happening. I had him losing both times to Robbie Lawler. I don't think he won the first fight with Robbie Lawler. So, I mean, looking at, he lost to GSP. Technically, he beat Robbie Lawler, even though I don't think he did. And then he lost to Robbie Lawler the second time. He won against Matt Brown. And then he got knocked out from Stephen Thompson. And then 3-round decision loss to Kevin Gastelum. So, like I said, again, you can kind of see where the knockouts stopped happening. It was right around the, it's right around the Martin Kapman fight. USADA came in, I think it was right around the second Robbie Lawler fight. So, like I said, again, it's going to be interesting. Neil Magny's kind of underrated, but if he does have a tendency is to get knocked out against, power punchers. So it will be interesting to see if he can avoid that stereotypical overhand right. If he can, he'll win the fight easy. If he gets hit by it, it's going to be a short night. So we'll see. I think Hendricks actually looks a little bit better health-wise. He just has a tendency, just like Kevin Gastelum, to balloon in between fights. So we'll go ahead and we'll see. But I'll go ahead and go with Johnny Hendricks on that one. I don't trust Kevin Gastelum's chin. I really don't. And then, let's see, what's the other fights that's on there? One I was really looking forward to, which got canceled, was the Fabricio Verdum versus Cain Velasquez. I just wanted to see Cain Velasquez annihilate him because I felt that he would have. I've said all along, you put them on a neutral site that's not up there in Mexico City, and Cain Velasquez pretty much blitzes him just because Verdum only has one advantage, and that's his jiu-jitsu, but it's not from a attacking. That's he's going to take Cain Velasquez down. It's more of a defense to getting taken down. So, I mean, if Cain doesn't gas in himself, he could take him down at will. But when it's on the feet, Verdum, if Cain's not getting tired, really doesn't have anything to threaten him on the feet. So we'll see if there's any other decent fights. Brandon Thatch versus Nico Price. That's going to be an interesting one. Thatch has kind of been on the losing end, but I really don't know too much about Nico Price, so I'm going to go ahead and go Brandon Thatch on that one. Then Alex Oliveira versus Tim Means. I'm going to go with Alex Oliveira. That guy's a beast. But we'll see if he again, I don't really see any way that Tim Means is really going to threaten him. But Tim Means does have sneaky power though too. Alex Oliveira is just a little bit better rounded. So that's pretty much UFC 206. I have Rousey winning. I got Dominic Cruz winning. I got TJ Dillashaw winning. I got Danya Kim. I got Johnny Hendricks winning. And then I have Brandon Thatch, and then Alex Oliveira. Those are kind of pretty much the big people. I mean, Mike Pyle is fighting Alex Garcia. I like Alex Garcia. I think he was affiliated with the Black Zillions. I believe so. But Mike Pyle has pretty much been around everywhere. And he's one of those guys where he can pretty much, he's kind of weird and unorthodox with his striking. So we'll see about that one. I think that's just a toss-up fight. If you're going to hold my feet to the fire, I kind of would lean in Mike Pyle's direction when it comes to that. Then my next thing that I wanted to discuss is pretty much just health. And there's been a lot of people passing away recently. Of course, you know, the notoriety is going to always be put on celebrities just because everybody knows them, and it's unfortunate that that happens. So I'm not saying any life is better than the next person's life. But yeah, it's just been a lot of random shit, and a lot of it's been on heart attacks, you know, like even the rich people or, you know, celebrity-based people, like they have stress as well. So imagine they have pretty much financial, not security, but they have a lot more financial security than we do. And it seems like, I don't know if it's like they're not keeping themselves healthy or they're just taking on more than they can handle at that particular age group. Just because it seems to be right now it's between about early 50s through 70s. Like most recently, what's her name? God, Carrie Fisher. Like, wow. Like, I mean, she's in her early 60s and she passed away from multiple heart attacks. So it just really comes down to the point where you always want to make sure that you're not taking on too much more than your hand can handle. It's not an ego thing. Sometimes you just got to remove the stress from your life. Unfortunately, if it's, you know, family members, people that, you know, stress you out or whatever, sometimes you got to take a step back, you know, and just say, you know what, unfortunately, like I can't go through this, or I can't, you know, help with this. That's one thing that, I mean, even that I'm doing, like my perspective going on life is this, like I always look for things to motivate me, and people either doubting me or saying things behind my back. I mean, you can't stop that. But if I hear about it, my number one thing is like, you know what? I'm motivated to prove them wrong, this or that. And I still live by that. I still will. But the one thing I'm going to change up is I'm not getting involved in other people's bullshit that they have going on within their life. Like, if it's not my immediate family, I can't, you know, interject myself into it. I mean, it's kind of tough, you know, for you to say that to family and stuff like that. But, I mean, my whole thing is that I will take family issues case by case. And if it's something that I can help with or point somebody in the right direction to, I'm going to do that. But if it's not along those lines right there, then I can't get myself involved in everybody's thing, you know, like I can't. I mean, I'm not going to really go too much in depth, you know, about that. My main thing within even talking about this is just always put your health number one. If that means that you got to wake up earlier just to go get a walk in, jog, go to the gym, you know, make sure that you're eating correctly over, you know, doing something else. Or like I said, again, if it's working out where you have to wake up an hour earlier than you normally would have, or 2 hours earlier, or it means going to bed an hour earlier in order to do that, you know, you got to put your health number one. Your family might not understand that, or your immediate spouse might not understand, you know, your spouse might not understand that, or immediate family, but they will thank you in the future for that, because you made your health a number one priority, which allows you to do more things with them. And it's not just physical, it's mental as well. And that's where the stress comes in, because that can affect you mentally and physically, you know, and you definitely need to, everybody has to deal with stress, but it's how you can manage it and how much you can take. If it's something that you can't take care of within the next, you know, few weeks or a month, then you can't sit there and dwell about it every single day. If it's something that you can, you know, take care of right away, take care of it as soon as you can, so then you don't have to worry about stressing about it, you know, for a week or 2 weeks. Always try to eliminate the stress as much as you can, you know. And just do that. Just make more time for your family. Like I said again, your family will thank you for it. If you had to get up a couple hours earlier, or you got to go to the gym on the way home just to work out, release some stress, go ahead and do that. Definitely always do that. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was just New Year's, and I know there's a lot of people that wait till New Year's Eve and say, oh well, this is what I'm gonna do this year, or it might be I didn't accomplish this last year, so I want to try to see if I can accomplish that this year. That is perfectly fine. My stance on that is you can't be like the definition of insanity. You want to achieve the same things every year, and you do the exact same thing every year, and you don't achieve that goal every single year or for last few years. You got to do something different. In order to get to that next level, you got to, how do they say it? If you want to achieve something that you never achieved, you're going to have to do something that you've never done. And I live by that. It usually works out for my favor because I always will look to adapt and change things. Just like an example, I was never the big proponent of doing cardio, but I believe it aids in fat loss. So that's a reason why I started doing it, and I've started seeing some good results from it. But my body is starting to get used to it. So what do? I adapt. And then what does that mean? Either going to doing 30 minutes instead of 20 minutes, or even doing the row machine and, doing some, jogging as well on the treadmill. So, that's doing it differently because I'm trying to achieve something that I haven't achieved. So, and that could be with anything. If you want to read a book, but you don't ever set aside the time in order to read that book, and you do the exact same thing, saying, oh, I'm going to read it tomorrow, I'm going to read it the next day, I'm going to start this the next day, you're going to keep achieving the exact same thing. I have friends, I know that they might be listening to this, and my thing is that, you see, again, it could be, we can go back to what I was talking about a little bit ago about health problems. There's always somebody sick or doing something like that. And, I don't know exactly what goes on in everybody's day-to-day life, but to me, it doesn't seem like, they're making enough of their health as a priority, and they do the exact same thing every single year, and they don't get to where they want to get to. So, again, it's all about just you're going to have to do something that you've never done in order to achieve what you've never achieved or what you want to achieve. That's what you got to do. So, I guess, again, what my motivation is that I'm going to be busy as hell this year. I got the birth of my son probably into January, early February. So I'm going to be busy with that. I got to get the room taken care of. And then also making sure that I still keep my own goals up. My goals are not going to change just because my kid's going to be around. If anything, it's going to make it more of a focus for me to achieve those goals. Just being real with you, that's kind of what motivates me now. The same things, they still motivate me, but it's not the same. My thing is that I want to give my son a life that I've never had, and for him not to worry about anything, but at the same time instill those lessons to where you got to work hard to achieve your goals. Nobody's going to hand you anything, and then always make sure that you're aware of who's rooting for you and who's rooting against you. You don't want to just go through life and not be aware of that, because, the people that are closest to you could be the same people that are secretly rooting against you. I'm not saying that, being paranoid or anything like that, but just, again, always make sure you're aware of who's rooting for you, who's there for you, and who's not rooting for you, to be quite frank with you. And then, yeah. So that's pretty much, it for, my New Year's. And what I feel about New Year's resolutions, what's my motivation, what I want to do. Like, I got a lot of goals, and I'm trying to achieve them. I think I might get back into fitness. I don't know what I'm going to do because I kind of got out of it a little bit. But I'm not looking at it as in that's going to give me the lifestyle that I want. It's going to be a part of my business plans, but it's not going to be my entire business model on what I'm going to be doing here in the very near future. It's going to be a part of it. I'm actually working on something. It's going to be pretty cool. What's your outlook for 2017? How do you see the world going? I see it's going to be different to a degree. Hopefully, we can all come together as a country. And it's going to be tough because, there's a lot of people that, did not like President Obama. And, you see a lot of more racial issues coming out. And that's something that, is kind of messed up because when I was growing up, I never really saw race. I had brothers and sisters that were from, multiple different ethnic backgrounds. I never looked at, you're Asian or you're Indian or Mexican or anything like that. I never looked at race like that. So that's one thing that I'm going to be paying attention to. And I definitely want to do my part to put the country first, because at the end of the day right now, the election's over with. We don't have any choice but to go ahead and go forward with the next 4 years. And after that, make our voices heard, you can't keep, one thing I used to hate and was people posting about, oh, my vote doesn't count, my vote this, vote that. Again, why are you bitching and complaining so much, but yet you're not offering any solutions on how to help fix the country? Now, why? You're basically are bitching just to bitch. You're not offering any type of solution or any type of way for us to, go ahead and move forward as a country. And me personally, I really don't have too much of an issue with Donald Trump. I had issues with the people that supported him. Just to be honest, I would look in the comments of people in the threads, and I never saw so much hate and disdain for, how people were talking about Hillary Clinton, calling her a skank or a cunt and, stuff like that. And these guys had daughters, or wives or sisters. And could you imagine if, somebody called them that type of language? That right there was the dumbfounding moment to me. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I couldn't understand it. Still to this day, I don't understand it. But what I'm trying to do is remain optimistic and definitely want to see everybody succeed in 2017. Like I said, again, I saw this meme. It was 2015 was a warm-up. 2016 got into the game or something like that. In 2017, I'm coming to win the game or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but last year, I had a lot of good things happen in my life. Got married. Well, actually had the wedding ceremony. My wife got pregnant, and now I'm looking to again change the game. It's gonna be a game changer what I'm gonna be bringing out. So, again, I just want to say thank you for the support. We're going to get into some shit, trust me. We're going to make this fun. I still want to bring you guys kind of have where it's a video / audio podcast. I want to have a guest that comes along with it too. So, I'll probably be primarily recording out of my place, the podcast with my desktop. But now, since unfortunately I have to go take that in to get repaired, it'll allow me to be able to have the same equipment and everything uploaded on my laptop. And now I can go ahead and take it to other people. So, yep. So that's what's coming down the pipeline. So thank you again for your support. And again, man, how about them Oakland Raiders? Peace.